Bravo! It was wonderful, Bunny.
Want to try another take?
Well, I don't see why. That seemed perfect to me.
Well, I usually just make light of it, say, well, it's about the worst opera singer in the world. But really, to talk about the movie, it's much more than that. It's about a marriage and a happy, long relationship, which between two people whose self-interest was equally served by the relationship as their honest feeling and affection for each other was there. So, I thought it was fun to look at that.
She's remarkable, isn't she?
She can be a little flat.
Flat?
It defies medical science.
I thought, oh, this will be a piece of cake because I can't really sing that well. So, but it was much more difficult. First of all, she tackled the most difficult arias in the canon of, operatic diva performances. I mean, she does the Queen of the Night, and she did Lakme from Delibes, the Indian princess, and all these things that are very, very challenging coloratura, way up in the stratosphere roles, and just to sing as well as for Florence Foster Jenkins was a challenge. I started with a real proper. At the time, I was making a film with Audra McDonald, who's a great singer, and I asked her who her vocal coach was because she has an amazing voice that sort of reaches the stratosphere, if she cares to use it that way. So I got her vocal coach, Arthur Levy, and he taught me these arias. And I tried to sing them as well as I possibly could first. And then we went off into the landscape of, mistakes. But I did, a lot of the time, I didn't think about how Florence Foster Jenkins would have sang the arias. I thought how my Florence would approach them. One thing that's interesting is when I remember hearing, I think it's Irving Berlin, and he was playing, a great American composer, playing his music, and he was singing along. And he was off pitch, wildly off pitch. So you would imagine that Irving Berlin knew when he was on, but in his head it sounded right. And there's a recording of him playing along, humming while he's playing, and so that gave me hope. I said, well, maybe there's that disconnect even in very accomplished people.
Cosme McMoon?
That's me, sir.
Come.
What should I play?
Well, I really don't mind, as long as it's not too loud.
I think the movie just comes alive when he comes on screen. Suddenly we know we have someone who's seeing things the way we do, seeing the movie from the audience's point of view. And that's sort of the function of McMoon's character. First of all, we're so lucky to have Simon. He's brilliant comic, but also can play these very, very difficult pieces. And Stephen was right. I don't think we could have done it without an actor who was also an accomplished pianist. But to be able to play these difficult pieces and at the same time be alert to what's going on in the room and react to it he had the hardest job of all, and he's just brilliant, I think.
What loveliness.
It's a particular sort of befuddled English hysteria that he brings to this part, and a formal, sort of very graceful presence. The real Bayfield was exactly, sort of the bastard son of an English earl who moved to New York and tried to be an actor and wasn't very good. But he was gorgeous, and he did, from everything I can read, he did love Florence, and he took care of her for 35 years.
Well, I must say, I think you're absolutely ideal.
Did I mention that I also compose?
And he also composes.
Yes, I'm sure he does.
He has the confidence of of all the great directors that I've worked with, which is that there's no effortful worry about whether they're making the right decision. He knows it when he sees it, and he's happy to move on. And that confidence gives actors confidence to feel okay about giving their all, and exposing themselves emotionally, because you trust that he's there, and he's got a really good eye. So I really loved working with him.